Sustainable Leadership Live. I'm Lisa Danforth, your host, and today I have the marvelous Fain Brandt joining us. Mary, thank you for being here today.
Aw, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be a guest on your show. Now, how long have you been doing this?
A
I'm
little
curious.
less than a year, and I'm
Oh,
absolutely loving it. I get to meet so many people, have amazing
right?
conversations. I learn something every single live. So, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to learn from you today. Today, we're going to be talking about why being authentic is so important. We're in the green room chatting about this. There's so many reasons and so many benefits of showing up
We could talk for
authentically.
like 2 or 3 hours on this, why people aren't authentic, how to be authentic.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is how to be authentic. The why we hear we need to be authentic and we know we need to be authentic, but really
Mm.
leaning into what's the impact? What's the transformation from truly showing up authentically? And how do we do it and not, it's not always easy.
No, it takes time.
Yeah.
We can talk a little bit about that too.
So let's just jump right in. Why is authenticity so important? I know you talked about it saves time and it'll help build our business, but what are some of the foundational components of why you lean into this so strongly?
Oh, well, it actually started with a personal story, if I could share that real quick.
Love it.
When I started my business in 2014, I didn't know anything about running a business, but I sure knew about social media. So I was on social media, checking out what other people are doing, looking at LinkedIn and Facebook and websites. And I tried to be like other people who I thought were successful, right? And some of them were, and some of them maybe not as much successful as I thought, but I thought I had to be like them in order to make it, in order to be seen as an expert.
Mhm.
And down the road, about a year and a half into it, things just weren't sticking, right?
It's like
So
slogging through mud, kind of.
yeah, content, I
Yeah.
wasn't using my authentic voice, here I am, bright colors with my
Yeah.
hands, right? You've met me now in person. So who you see online is who I am in real life.
Mhm.
And now, right? Now that I learned to be my authentic self and it's okay to, my content resonates with the right people.
Right.
I work with the right people. I don't have to be two people. My thing is, I always tell people it is too hard to be two people, one online and one in
Mhm.
person. There becomes this big disconnect if you go to meet people in person and you represent yourself a different way online.
Right.
There's going to be a disconnect. They're going to be like,
Trust.
wait, yeah, who is that? And that trust, they're going to be like, what else is she hiding?
Mhm.
Right? So I think it's really important that we learn how to be our authentic selves. Plus, on top of, I feel like I wasted like a year and a half in my business trying to be someone else.
We've all done that, I think, to some
Right.
point when we're first starting out. Yeah.
Well, it was also hard to write my content. It was
Mhm.
also hard to network with other people, like in real life, because I tried to be someone that I wasn't or that just didn't fit who I was. But also being authentic, it's just easier because you're not being two people, right? You're going to save some time and frustration. And also, I looked this up before the show, and I believe this, it's healthier. I'm not sure that people would understand why it's healthier. So the research shows that our capacity for experiencing connection, right? Authentic connection is linked to our health and longevity.
Yes.
So authentic connections actually with others help
Mhm.
our main nerve that I'm going to read this. The main nerve that originates at the stem of the brain and
Vegas.
travels through the chest, connecting the brain to the lungs, the digestive tract, and most notably, the heart. So,
Healthy heart,
right?
right?
I
Healthy
mean,
everything.
why wouldn't you want to be authentic if it's good for your business, good for yourself, and easier because you're not trying to be someone else, and good for your heart?
Good for absolutely everything, that authenticity. The problem being, I think it's very uncomfortable to show up as ourselves when we never have before,
Yes.
like you were saying, kind of emulating other people. And I think when we're starting out, and I'd love your opinion on this, when we're starting out, we often do sort of emulate what other people are doing because we're learning how to step into this space. But then
Yes.
how do we come back and really emulate, but still have it be in alignment with who we are. Can you give us some tips and tools? Because that sounds simple, but it's not always easy.
It's not. I think that you have to take stock in what your core. So you need to know your core values,
Amen.
and right, you need to know your core values, and you also need to understand your strengths and weaknesses. And we talk about that as I'm a career coach for women, so we talk about this all the time. And one of the things I do with the women that I help is that we do some really in-depth exercises. So I think understanding who you are,
Mm.
and then accepting your strengths and your weaknesses, and then just aligning all of that. So I also help people with their personal brand. And as business owners and career professionals in 2022, you must create and define your personal brand, because that stays with you for life. And it took me years working with a branding person and trying to figure it out on my own what my brand was. And they say you should be able to explain your brand like in a sentence. And so after trying to be like everyone else, putting Mary in a box, trying to be very strategic and corporate like, which is so far from who I am. But I thought I had to be corporate
Right.
like to be successful and to be seen as an industry, a thought leader. I thought that's who I had to be. My brand is 4 words. It's fun, informative, casual, and conversational. It's fun because I want to have fun with the work I do. I
Mhm.
want to smile and laugh. It's informative because I am very strategic in the work that I do, and I help people understand LinkedIn and how to find a job. It's casual because that's who I am. Trying to be this buttoned up professional person isn't who I am. And it's conversational because the magic happens in the conversations. And I love talking to people and I learn so much. And a quick side note, I lost my voice, not physically, but um, I lost my confidence
Mhm.
in using my voice because as a child, I was always told, Mary Liz, don't interrupt. Mary Liz, be quiet. Mary Liz, don't talk. Like my entire childhood, I got in trouble in school. I had to write, I will not talk in class. On the chalkboard. I'm going to date myself. I like 50 times, 2 years in a row.
They don't still do that now?
I don't think so. Maybe on the iPad. But because I had so much to say and I just like talking to people. Well,
Mhm.
now I tell my family, I joke and I say, I get paid for talking. If you guys hadn't shushed me, right?
Right.
If I had learned to use my voice, in, my early 20s or something, I would have started a business earlier. So stepping into what your strengths are, owning those and being proud of it.
Helps you be sustainable. We're talking about sustainable leadership and tying it in. And I think when we're showing up authentically, it's much easier to sustain who we are, the success, the outreach, the discomfort of stepping into a new space and exploring it and learning when we can certainly show up just clearly as ourselves, unapologetically.
Yeah. We have to, being authentic means being true to ourselves. And it's about having the courage to define our version of what a successful life looks like. Success for me is different for you, for
Mhm.
Stephanie, for Evie, for all the people we know. Success, there isn't one definition. Okay. So you have to understand what does success mean to you? Does that mean that you're staying at home with your kids? Great. Does that mean you're working for the big five pharma? Great. Does that mean you're starting your own business? Does success mean that you're running a marathon? Right? Does success mean that you're taking a 3-day weekend every week? Is that success for you? So I think you have to start with who are you? What are your strengths? And really work on accepting them.
Can
Okay.
I jump in real quickly?
Yeah.
What I find with this is that we've disconnected, a lot of women specifically have disconnected from
Yeah.
what they want, their goals. A lot of women will tell me what they don't want, but they have a hard time telling me what they do want. So here's my thing: write down what you don't want and flip it. So,
That's a
I
good
don't want to be
strategy.
so overwhelmed. I want more spaciousness and freedom in my day, right? So,
Ah,
so that flip is really, it's for me, it's been a real great trick, super simple and easy
great.
to do. So I just want to sort of jump in and plop that in there if you don't mind. Thank you.
No, I don't mind at all. I like that. So with my career coaching, we create a red flag list of the things you don't want, because people in their career know what they want, right? They think they know what they want. But so we created this red flag list years ago with one of my clients to help them to be able to say no to the wrong opportunity, which she did. Because her red flag list, she goes, Mary, your voice was in my head. The red flag list, they said those trigger words. So I knew this wasn't the right job for me. And 2 weeks later, she had 2 more amazing job offers and took one. And it was like everything she wanted. So understanding who you are, who you're not, right? So understanding what you want, what you don't, that those 4 things are probably the basis of starting your authentic journey.
Yeah, and that authentic journey really starts from within so that we can get out and build that authentic business career and whatnot.
And connections. I'm all about people. I'm all, they call me a connector. I won an award at Hera Hub in San Diego. They do this annual award thing, and they were like, Mary, you got to come. I'm like, maybe, I'll see. My friend's like, no, you really need to come. I was like, okay, I'll be there. Well, they had created this award for me, the Connector of the Year, because I genuinely love connecting people with other people, places, and things that they might need in their life. Because for me, connection is something that I need in my life. Like, I know that. Like we were talking about before the show. Well, we'll get into that.
Jump right in.
Well, we were just talking, we were talking about what's important and how do you create authenticity. And for me, it's connecting with people, stepping into my strengths, and also I'm going to say flipping the word failure into learning opportunity. I am strong enough to take a chance and learn something. I am strong enough to start a live show. I'm strong enough to go to the gym and try to get back in shape. And I might fail at that time after time again, but I'm going to keep trying. And as long as you're trying, you're not failing.
I want to go back to when we were about to go live. I said, I've been doing this for so long and I still get a little nervous, right? When I hit go live, because we want to be authentic and it can stop us. So I think you really hit the nail on the head with that of just, we've got to start stepping into it and we have to be comfortable with flubbing and not saying the right thing in order to get to the other side.
I was so afraid of failure for years. Like, most of my adult life, so afraid of failure in all areas of my life. And it wasn't until I started my business, literally, that it taught me how to turn that word around. I'm not failing. I'm trying. It didn't work out. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. It really is not the end. I have live shows that go haywire, technology or guests don't show up. I've had clients that, things didn't work out how I thought they should, or how they didn't think they should. I fail at trying to get to the gym consistently, but I don't give up. This is who I am, and I keep going forward, and I keep trying.
So the word that keeps popping into my mind as you're talking is perfectionism. Where does perfectionism get in the way of our authenticity?
I think it stops us cold right there. If I'm not perfect, so we try to be perfect. If you're trying to be perfect, what version of perfect? Someone else's?
There is no perfection.
And we did a whole show on perfectionism. Fanny and Karen Tisdale, Fanny Dugan and Karen Tisdale, and it was hilarious. We put really bad pictures of ourselves out. Like, I had crazy hair. Karen was standing in the rain, so she didn't I was like, women, if we are going to do a show on being imperfect, we have to show our imperfect selves. And they're like, okay. I'm like, no, come on, let's do it. Because women, we judge ourselves by how we look, how we're aging, our family life. We judge ourselves. And I think we have to have less perfectionism, less judgment, and step into who we are. And a great example of this, if anyone wants to see someone who is crushing it by being her authentic, crazy self, Brittany Crossan on Instagram. She's also on LinkedIn. And I follow her because she's hilarious, but she knows what she's doing. She dances on her Peloton.
I bet she's educating, entertaining.
Yes.
Right.
And she's built this business like in 4 years. Um,
That's amazing.
yeah.
All
So
by, let's just tie this in, all by being authentic, all by
all by being
being
herself.
truly
Hmm.
who she is and unapologetically so. That doesn't, and I
Yes.
think when we unapologetically doesn't mean brazen and disrespectful, but I believe unapologetically ourselves, authentic means
It's
you,
accepting who we are.
right? You don't have to like me. That's okay. We need to be respectful. But
Right.
it's
I
not
agree.
everyone's. I am certainly not everyone's cup of tea.
I'm
That
not
we have
everyone's
to.
cup of tea.
That's why I like you.
Bright colors, talk with my hands. I'm like, woohoo, we can do this. I'm like that cheerleader, little loud sometimes, right?
Mhm.
I am definitely not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Right.
It's perfectly fine.
And when we stop apologizing for it and morphing ourselves is when we can step into that authenticity. Like you said, truly saving time on
Yes.
so many different levels.
And tying authenticity into sustainable leadership, I was sharing a personal story about how this really matters in the workplace. I worked at a prestigious private school in La Jolla, California, and I had a wonderful boss, and then I had a new boss, and we never really gelled. And I kept trying to connect with her. Okay,
The new
listen to that
boss.
word. Yeah, the new boss. I kept trying to connect with her because I was her right hand, her executive
Mhm.
assistant. I needed to have a connection to serve her well. And her mom had gotten sick. And I remember walking into her office and saying, "Hey, AC, how's your mom doing?" "Oh, she's okay." I was like, "Is there anything I can do for you?" Because I knew kind of what was going on. She's like, "No, thanks." And I
Oh,
walked out. And 10 seconds later, someone from accounting walked by. She had like French doors, walked by and said, "Hey, AC, how's your mom?" Told her the whole story, had her come in. I was like, I- imagine as an
mhm.
employee how that trust level just it just plunged. And if you don't have trust, you're not going to have buy-in from your employees. And
Which
if
means
you
you're
don't
not
have,
going to have authenticity,
yes,
connection.
connection, and when you don't have authenticity and trust and buy-in from your employees, they're not going to do their best work, right? They're not committed because you couldn't be authentic. And I'm not saying people need to share everything going on in their life. Not at
Mhm.
all. I knew of the situation. I asked because I was genuinely concerned. What can I do to help you? Change an appointment, move some things around. And she was like that with me all the time.
Mhm.
So there was a huge disconnect. And that wall, right? We talked about that. Like I pulled
Right.
back.
More bridges, less
Yeah.
walls.
More
Yeah.
bridges, less walls.
I love that story and because it really shows us the importance of each person showing up authentically and the negative impact that can come out of it. And you probably did, how much longer did you stay or did she
Um,
stay?
she stayed. I left first, and then she eventually left as well. A lot of other people exited the school. I always thought I was going to retire from there, to be honest. But my mom got sick, and I left because of that.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it was. Well, her mom was still alive. I don't know if it was like 9 months or a year. I'm one of those people who stuck it out, thinking
Mhm.
things would change, which is not something that I don't teach my clients to do now.
Right. Hindsight is
Mm-mm. The
2020.
writing is on the wall. Open your eyes and read
Yeah.
it and do something about it. Take action. Don't wait for them to take action.
Right. And make a plan. You don't have to take action today other
Yes.
than maybe
But
looking
making
forward
a
and
plan is
where do you
taking
want to
action.
be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The taking action part is thinking about how long do you want to do this and what do I need to do should I want to exit?
Exactly. Start creating a
Yeah.
strategy that's going to help sustain you moving forward. So
Yeah.
love it. Thank you for sharing that story. We are almost at time, if you can believe it. It always goes so fast, which I love the 20 minutes because we just jump right in and whatnot. But may I ask you one question?
Sure.
One more question. What's one habit or skill set that helps you live and lead a sustainable life?
I think my skill set is being able to have meaningful conversations with people,
Mm,
and really listening to them and really creating connection. I just had a wonderful call yesterday with someone who's a career coach like me, and we're going to partner up because there's so much beauty in the work that we do. And so I really feel that the conversations and the connections is my skill set that helps me lead an authentic life.
I love it. So good. Where can people reach out to you, connect with you, chat with you?
LinkedIn is my favorite platform. Please
It is.
connect with me there. My button says follow, so you'll need to follow me there. And if I see you following me, I can send a connection request unless you know how to figure that out, how to do it. There's a special way, but I would love for people to connect and follow with me on LinkedIn and ring my bell on the banner over there so you can get notified of all my live shows, my audio events, and the content that I share. I share a lot of great tips for career folks and business people.
Definitely follow Mary. There's so much amazing information. By the way, I finally got the ability to use the bell, which I'm super excited about, just like this week. It's crazy. So thank you so much. So next week, please join August 10th. I'm talking to Melody Johnson. She is a processpreneur.
I
I
love her.
Yeah, she's great. I can't wait to have her share just all of her tips and tools and whatnot. So next week, again, August 10th, 10 a.m. East Coast, 7 a.m. Pacific, and would love to have you join us. Mary, thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing your brilliance with us and tips and tools on truly how to show up authentically. And not only
Yes.
that, but how it impacts us positively internally with ourselves and with just
And with
showing up in the world
others.
and
Yeah.
serving. Yeah. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Have a
Thank
great day.
you.